1 live.
Hey, Salam al-Masih. God bless each and every one of you this evening, this afternoon. I'm used to saying evening because it is usually the evening time that I'm here, but it is the afternoon here on a wonderful Saturday afternoon in Ontario, Canada. So, we have a funny thing that has popped up recently. So if y'all don't know, if y'all haven't seen it yet, Libyano is now joining hands with a Zionist. But just imagine, like, what do you think is in Libyano's head? Right? This is probably what is in Libyano's head, right? He's probably thinking that Daddy Logic did him so dirty that he's willing to join hands with a Zionist, just to get an ounce of dignity back that Logic actually took from him. Ali Dawah wasn't good enough over in Speaker's Corner. They keep coming at the Christian doctrine, they keep coming at the Trinity, and they ain't doing nothing. Now they have to run to a Jewish man to try to disprove the Trinity. I think that that's beautiful. It's beautiful. But is the Muslim Ummah gonna be so understanding the same way the Orthodox Muslim is? Because we all know what's going on right now, don't we? In Palestine, the Palestinians, Israel. We know what's going on there, right? Weirdly enough, the Orthodox Muslim is going to have a man on his panel to talk about theology that actually said something like this. Go ahead, just listen to what Mr. Tovia Singer. Let Tovia Singer, you tell us how you really feel about Palestinians and Muslims. You tell us, Tovia Singer.
Rabbi Tovia Singer is a known rabbi who refutes Christianity on YouTube. Many of his followers are also Muslims. He might seem like a very likable man, but in reality his actual views he hides on the Palestinians is shocking and disgusting.
So I let them scream, let them cry. That's why it doesn't bother me. That's why I'm so happy to see them screaming and crying. God help us. God help us if they're laughing. If they're you know when they laughed in Gaza? You know when the last time they rejoiced? When 3,000 Americans were murdered on 9/11. They were passing out candy. That's what makes them laugh. That's what makes them rejoice. You know when they rejoice? When an Israeli soldier's body was kidnapped, they were rejoicing all over. When did they rejoice? When 5 soldiers were murdered. Let them cry. When the enemy is screaming and wailing, that means that we are safe and the enemy is getting destroyed. Hashem promised. I love it. I love these demonstrations. I enjoy them. To me, I just get out the popcorn and let's enjoy.
He loves this demonstration. He loves the Palestinians crying. He loves the Palestinians screaming. He loves what Israel was doing to them. He sits back with his popcorn, laughs like it's a movie. What do you Muslims feel? How do you Muslims think about that? Is this a man that represents your religion? You know, hey, it don't matter. He doesn't like the Trinity. He doesn't like the Trinity, y'all. So therefore, it's all fair game, right? So what? That's not it, though. Tovia, you tell these Palestinians how you really feel.
I mean, what do you exactly want? You want the pro-Hamas people? I'm using the word people very loosely here. Do you want these pro-Hamas, this Edom, to be rejoicing, to be smiling? No, I want them to be crying.
That's an optimistic way of looking at it.
It is. Right? It's really not a twist on anything. I remember going back, I'm sure you remember, 15 years ago when the suicide bombings were going off, we were having demonstrations on the streets with 100,000 pro-Israel people screaming and crying. Let them scream and cry. That means our children are alive. When the 3 boys were murdered, those 3 children were murdered, which launched all this, and in a way, they're karbonos, they are sacrifices in a sense. They're really a real Mashiach ben Yosef moment. What happened when those 3 boys were executed? The Arabs are so happy that these boys were executed, and that's what makes them happy. If they're screaming and crying, good, Baruch Hashem, they should keep screaming and crying, and their wails shouldn't stop. I'm such a joy. I can't wait for the next demonstration.
He can't wait for the next demonstration. He literally says, praise God for these demonstrations, and these demonstrations is what Israel was doing to the Palestinians. But yeah, Orthodox Muslims like, it don't matter. It don't matter. He don't like the Trinity. That's all that matters. That's all that matters to you, isn't it, Libyano? That's all that matters to you. But is that all that matters to the Muslim Ummah?
Where they're crying and screaming. It's a picnic.
It's a picnic.
It is. It means that we're alive. It is.
Fair
it's
enough.
true. It's true.
It's good. No, I feel a lot better having talked to you about it. It's good.
He is describing the unaliving of Palestinian people as a picnic. Muslims, I want any Muslim that ever sees this or even has heard of this. How are you going to allow Libyano to have a man like this on his channel? I'm just wondering.
Really?
Yeah,
I love that.
That's why I don't get. I'm not upset. I'm happy. Thank God. That means that the enemy is going down, and they're crying and wailing because their heroes are going up and being vaporized. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling terrific. I'm feeling good. How does a man in your
He's feeling great after people are getting vaporized. He feels great after Palestinians are being vaporized. Hey, but he don't like the Trinity, so he's all good.
condition become so cute? That's what I want to know. He says, he says, I'm a Christian. I love Israel, but they're screaming and shouting in the streets of London, he writes to me. I said, thank God they're screaming and crying in the streets of London. Could you imagine if they were rejoicing? What would that mean? That would mean our soldiers are being murdered and slaughtered. So it's so obvious. It requires, but we're very nervous about what people think of us. No, we're not seeking out the approval of the world. This is the enemy. Let them scream. Let them wail. I hope they're screaming and wailing tomorrow. God help us if they're rejoicing in the street.
The Arabs are the enemy. Tovia Singer hopes they are screaming tomorrow. Yet an Arab is going to host him to talk about the Trinity. Wouldn't Tovia hope that Arab is screaming on that day?
Streets of London. God help us if they're rejoicing in the streets of Damascus. God help us if they're screaming and dancing in Gaza City. Let them scream and wail, and that means our boys are alive and the terrorists are going to their rightful reward.
So what about the people that look at this, the demonstrations in all the major cities around the world, and the Palestinians and the pro-Palestinian demonstrations, so on and so forth, reminiscent of Nazi Germany? What of that?
What do you mean reminiscent of Nazi Germany? They're idiots. That means this. If
anyone that says that this is remnants of Germany is an idiot, according to Tovia Singer. If they say what Israel is doing to the Palestinians is equivalent, apparently they are idiots, according to Tovia Singer. What do you think about it, Orthodox? What about it, Libyano? What do you think about his comments here? And just as a brief pause and intermission, we got my big brother Scott up in the house. He says, God bless you. And then he says, the two sons of Shaitan are collaborating and trying to avenge the beatings that Dr. Brown and Avery put on them boys, respectively. Yes, Dr. Michael Brown put a beating on Tovia Singer so bad that Tovia Singer will not ever, and I mean ever, have another discussion with him again. He literally said that. He is scared to have another discussion with Dr. Michael Brown because of the first discussion they had. Now, if everybody wants, we may be able to review that later in time. But we have another review. What me and Big Brother Scott have planned is we may actually bring our brother Albie Al with us, and we may actually do a review to the Orthodox Muslim and Tovia Singer after they go live. That's in the that we're talking about that, so that should be sometime next week. So stay tuned for that. But Mr. Tovia Singer, keep talking about these Arabs. Keep talking about how you love hearing them scream and cry and wail, and how you eat popcorn and like it's a picnic. Yet you're going on an Arab stage or panel in what, 2 days?
someone is in North Korea, I don't blame them. Why? Because in North Korea, they don't have access to the internet. They don't have access to Fox News. They don't have access to Fox News, to Sky News. So all they're doing is they're getting they're brainwashed, bombarded with one ideology. So I understand that. But today, there's very little excuse for a person in the Western world who can easily go on the internet, read both sides, and make an informed decision. These are enemies of the Jewish people, and they have access. They have free will.
Libyano is an enemy to the Jewish people. Yet, a Jewish man and an Arab man are going to join together because of their love to hate Christ. Because they both love to hate Christ, that's what brings them together.
Now, there's no excuse any longer for someone to say, I was ignorant, I didn't know. They can hear both sides. They don't want to. Yeah, of course, if they take out crazy glue and they glue their channel to Al Jazeera, yeah, of course that's what you get. But they're a bunch of idiots if they do that. Today, there's an information explosion. Any idiot could have a balanced information and make an informed decision. Let them scream and cry. If I catch them stopping to scream and cry, I'm going to be very upset.
And what do you say about people who...
If he catches them stopping from screaming and crying, he's going to be upset. So he wants them to scream and cry. Yet, Libyano wants to have him on to talk about the Trinity. Muslims, what's more important? Going against the Trinity or Zionism? Which is it? Is the Trinity really that bad that you're willing to throw everything under the bus? Like, listen to how Tovia Singer is talking about the Palestinian people. And you're all going to be over there like, oh, Tovia's the man. He's talking about the Trinity. Yeah, you keep going. That's the height of hypocrisy right there.
Who seem to come out of the woodwork, people who seem to be neutral, not even have an opinion on the matter, all of a sudden, it does bring the Jew burners out of the woodwork when there's a conflict that involves Israel, and all of a sudden you find out who's a little left of center. And
exactly, it's like bringing out the pedophiles. This is what I want. People, pedophiles, because it's socially unacceptable. People don't say, "Oh, I'm a big pedophile." No, people keep it quiet that they whatever pedophilia they engage in, a bestiality they engage in. This is fantastic. It brings out the cockroaches. This is the issue because this way we know who they are. You know who Charles Manson is? Are you familiar with
yeah.
So Charles Manson, I love the guy. Why? Because he has a swastika on his forehead. This is perfect.
That's right.
As far as a swastika. So right away, you look at him, he's got a swastika on his forehead. So you know the man's a Looney Tune. You know the man's a psychopath. And it's fantastic. The dangerous people are the ones who don't have the swastika on their forehead. So we're trying to figure out what's really going on in their head. This is the measuring tool. This is good and evil. There's no gray here. So if someone understands that Hamas is shooting rockets at civilians, and shooting rockets at civilian neighborhoods, and Israel responding, what would they do? What did London do when the Nazis were bombing London, arbitrarily just killing civilians? They know exactly what's going on. What would the United States do if Cuba started shooting missiles at Fort Lauderdale, Miami? They would vaporize the place. That would be the end of it. In fact, as we're speaking now, American drones are bombing Afghanistan, blowing up bar mitzvahs that are going on there, and no one cares. But Obama's calling for a ceasefire. What kind of stupidity, a ceasefire? That means we should allow Hamas to hold on to its weapons and whatever tunnels haven't been discovered yet? How stupid. And this Bibi is a very interesting guy. He unfortunately, he's a failed personality. But he would have a ceasefire. He would go for it. The only thing is that Hamas doesn't let him. Because Hamas is saying we're not going to agree to a ceasefire. Because Hamas is thinking if they stop now, Hamas is going to look like they've lost the war, and pride is everything in the Arab world. So Hamas is letting go. What is Bibi's ultimate criteria? What does he want more than anything?
So there you have it, y'all. Tovia Singer does not want this to end either. He wants total annihilation. So Libyano, let me get this straight. Libyano is going to bring a Zionist on his stage who openly loves to hear Palestinians screaming and crying because their families have been unalived in this war. And Muslims are okay with this. Yes. Everybody else was like, no, there's no way. But yes, everyone. Yes, Muslims are fine with this. You know why? Do you want to know why? Because of the hatred for Jesus. Just because they both hate Jesus, they can come together to refute the Trinity. Well, that's their idea anyway, right? Isn't that disgusting? You would think, to me, that's disgusting. Now, since the disgusting part is done, about what we know Libyano is about to do in a couple of days with Tovia Singer, which we're going to do a response to after that, I also have something a little fun for you as well. So, lately, Muslims have been, talking and whatnot. And actually, this goes back a while ago. So, what happened a while ago was there was a video done. They were talking about, should Tovia Singer be doing this stuff? Why are Muslims bringing them up? And this discussion was happening, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what one Muslim said. This is the reason why. So let's go ahead and take a look at why this happened. So let me go and make that big screen. Excellent. It says here, and this is by a Muslim. Let me go ahead and get this a little bit bigger so you can read it. Bam, there you go. And it says, Zakir Hussein asked me not to do videos on Tovia Singer because behind the scenes, Tovia helps Muslims in debates versus Christians. So I don't know. Ijaz is doing 1, 2. If Ijaz Ahmed is a buddy, cop team up, whatever. He's going to team up with them against Christianity with zero Dawah to Tovia. I'll talk to Zakir and see what he says. I think Khalil will criticize Judaism. Let's see how well he does. But this buddy cop trend really got to end. A loss or so. Basically, this guy's saying that this friendship between Tovia Singer and the Muslims have got to end. You can't keep doing this. Even though Tovia Singer is the one that's helping you Muslims in debates. Even though he's the one helping you Muslims in debates against Christians, it shouldn't happen. It just shouldn't happen, y'all. Because Allah said, and now what did Allah said? Allah said, "O you who have believed, do not take the Jews and the Christians as allies. They are, in fact, allies of one another. And whoever is an ally to them among you, then indeed is one of them. Indeed, Allah guides not the wrongdoing people." So basically, what Allah is saying in this surah and ayah is that if Libyano is going to be an ally with Tovia Singer, and he's going to align himself with Tovia Singer, then he is one of them and not a Muslim anymore. Therefore, he is a kuffar. If he takes Tovia Singer on his panel to join up, to team up with him against Christianity, he is then being a kuffar according to his Quran. Weirdly enough, eh? Weirdly enough with him, right? Weirdly enough. But it's not even just that, though, y'all. It's not even just that. Sometimes what we actually have, too, is sometimes Muslims get talking about this as well, right? So let's go ahead and see if we got some Muslims that talk about this as well. Oh, what do we got here, y'all? I don't know what the ruling is on having a discussion with the rabbi who I think is living in Jerusalem during this time. I'm interested in this conversation, but I'm conflicted. You're right, you should be conflicted because he said that he was going to be having popcorn. And it's a picnic while Palestinians and their children are being unalived by Israeli bombs. That's what Tovia Singer said, and that's who Libyano's bringing up. I also got one more thing for y'all. So I hope that the Muslims really put it to Libyano when he has Tovia Singer up and let him know that it's not a good idea to join sides with somebody that laughs when their Palestinian brothers are unalived by Israeli soldiers. But we also have another hypocritical stance that I was just pointed out to today, and I got to bring it to y'all. I got to bring it to y'all. So y'all remember back a couple months ago, we were getting on Central Dawa about the Central Dawa Discord and how people were going to pay him $20 and they would get this Discord access and they would be able to get arguments to refute Christianity for a low price of $20 one-time fee, right? A low price of $20 one-time fee. Do you remember what Libyano said about that? Well, guess what, y'all? I do. I remember. Well, let's go ahead and listen to what Libyano said at that time.
But telling people how many people are in the server is a marketing strategy, yes.
No, Akhi, that's not a kind of thing a Muslim does. It's not a marketing strategy. It's called lying. It's deceptive. It's not. We're not selling. We're not doing like Shopify courses here. This is like Islam. This is Dawa we're talking.
Wait, Libyano.
We're not doing Shopify courses. This is Islam, y'all. They don't sell their Dawa. Orthodox Muslim Libyano was on Central's butt for weeks and months. Like they don't even really talk anymore because of this. Because Central Dawa was selling the Dawa, remember? $20 Discord server, so he was charging people money for Dawa, right? So, Orthodox Muslim would never, I repeat, would never do something like that, of course, right? Right, everyone? The Orthodox Muslim would not do anything like that after he told Central Dawa that you do not sell the Dawa. The Dawa is not for sale. It's not for sale, man. Oh, what do I got on my screen here, y'all? Is this the Orthodox Muslim getting saying, hey, everyone, you can get a web conference phone call with me for 1 hour. 1 hour. 1 hour phone call with the Orthodox Muslim. That's right. For the low price of $99 a minute. What? What? Let me say, do I see that price correct? Is that a correct price? Let me get in here a little more. I got to see this. Is that the correct price? Oh, look at that, y'all. To me, that looks like $99 for 1 hour. For 1 hour. Hey, but $20 for a lifetime of copy and paste Jews for Judaism. Hey, that's selling your Dawa. Hey, $20 is too much. But $99 an hour, that's where it's at, y'all. That's where it's at right there. But let's see. Let's see what you get for that $99. Okay, it may be worth it. It may be worth it, right? You don't know, right? So let's see. This session is for anyone seeking clear, thoughtful answers to serious questions about life changes. Life changes. Is he looking for a girlfriend? Are these the girls who have not hit puberty yet? That are looking for those life changes that have not reached their menstrual cycle yet? Are you really charging people $99 for 1 hour so you can vet girlfriends that have not reached puberty yet? Oh, but besides that, though, y'all, he's not just looking for a girlfriend for $99 an hour. He's actually going to discuss Christian-Muslim polemics. It don't matter if you're looking for a perspective on personal matters or want to undertake key issues in Christian-Muslim debates. This is your space to ask. Ask your questions. I'll provide direct, grounded answers. Topics may include worldview, theology, doubts, or even direction in life. This is not for Islamic jurisprudence. Do not come to Orthodox Muslim for fiqh. He cannot provide that for you. Just please come with your questions prepared so we can use the time efficiently. That's right, Orthodox Muslim. I'm sure these Muslims are going to pay $99 for 1 hour and not be ready. I'm just, if I got to pay $99 to talk to somebody, I'm going to have question after question. I'm going to have like what he's probably going to say and question. I'm going to have everything written down, ready to go. Actually, no, I'm not. Because I'm not paying somebody $99 just to talk to him about religion. This is the height of Islamic apologetics. He's charging you $99 an hour to talk to him, yet he's going to have a Zionist come on his YouTube to teach him how to talk to you. You Muslims out there that are paying this $99 an hour, you're getting the information from a Zionist who laughs when your Palestinian brothers and sisters are being unalived, and he calls it a picnic. That's what Libyano's doing. I just wanted to point that out. So he's all over Central for $20 for Jews for Judaism, copy and paste. Yet he's offering people $99 an hour for basically Zionist information. Which one's worse? I'll let you guys be the decision makers of that. And was saying I couldn't have a long live today. It is Saturday. This is family day. But I haven't been able to go live lately because I've been working so much. So because I've been working a lot during the week, I have not been able to go live at night. I've just been way too tired at night to be able to do that. So I did have a little bit of time, about an hour to 45 minutes where I could do this live today. So that's why I jumped in today to do this. If I do have time tomorrow, I'm going to try to go live tomorrow again. But I do have to go back to work tomorrow. So I work 6 days a week. And usually the day I have off is the family day. But I am going to be trying to do a little bit more, even working 60 hours a week. I'm going to still try to do some live streams during the week when I can. So if you can and you want to support, please support through the Patreon or even PayPal, or even supporting as a member here on YouTube. It definitely helps in me being able to present you more reviews and everything else like this. And with saying that, God bless each and every one of you. There is only one God, and that is the true triune God of Scripture. Abortion is murder, and there is only one way to paradise, y'all. That is through our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Every knee will bow, every tongue will confess that he is their Lord. I pray you do it in this life before you're forced to do it in the next. God bless you all, and have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday.